Emma Carter was a nurse on orbital station Helios, a giant hospital drifting near the stormy clouds of Jupiter where ships from dozens of alien worlds brought their sick and wounded to be treated. She was young and tired from long night shifts, but her heart was gentle. She believed every life had value, no matter if it came with scales, wings, or strange skin. One evening, when alarms were echoing across the silent corridors, Emma wandered into a restricted ward. She was not supposed to be there, but curiosity and instinct pulled her forward. Behind a sealed door, she saw something that froze her heart, a massive creature chained to a medical table, its body covered in metallic black scales glowing faint blue light, leaking from deep wounds. Its chest rose weakly with each breath, and its eyes, two burning sapphire flames, looked at her with pain and fear. The label on the wall said dangerous, and the guards at the door whispered, "Let it die, it is not worth the trouble." She could not believe what she was hearing. This was no mindless beast, this was a living being struggling for its life. Emma's hands trembled, but she moved closer. Her training told her how to stop the bleeding, how to bring oxygen, how to stabilize a heart, but her orders screamed inside her mind, "Stay away, do not interfere." She remembered her oath as a nurse, she remembered why she left Earth to serve in space. She placed her hands on the creature's wound and whispered, "Hold on, please." Hold on. The monitors around her lit up with warning signals as she worked quickly, improvising with the tools at hand. The creature made no sound, but its eyes followed her every move. Tears formed in her eyes as she fought for a life everyone else had already abandoned. She stayed with it through the night, feeding medicine into its strange veins, listening to its heartbeat stumble and then grow stronger. Slowly the wounds began to close. Slowly the faint glow around its body brightened. Emma felt something stir in her chest. Hope. She did not care if it was alien, if it was dangerous, or if it was hated. She only saw a patient, and she refused to let it die. When the morning shift arrived, the doctors stormed in, their faces pale with fury. "What have you done, Emma?" they shouted. "You do not understand what this means." But she did not stop until the creature's breathing was stable. They pulled her away, and her supervisor's voice cut like a knife, "You are finished, Nurse Carter. Collect your things, you are fired." Emma stood speechless, her uniform still stained with the dragon's glowing blood. She tried to argue, she tried to explain that saving a life was never a crime, but their eyes were filled with fear, not anger. Her supervisor leaned close and whispered in a trembling voice, "You do not know what you have done. You may have doomed us all." And with those words her world collapsed. The guards escorted her out of the ward, her access card revoked, her future erased. She walked the silent halls one last time, the weight of confusion pressing on her chest. When she looked back, she thought she saw the dragon's eyes still watching her, glowing faintly through the glass. She felt no regret, only dread, a whisper at the back of her mind telling her that this single act of kindness had set something unstoppable into motion, something that would soon reach beyond her, and beyond the hospital, and perhaps beyond Earth itself. She stepped into the shuttle back to the planet, with her head lowered, her heart torn between pride and fear, unaware that thousands of miles above the gas giant, ancient eyes were opening, and ancient ships were already stirring, drawn by the single choice of a human nurse who refused to let a dragon die. Emma sat alone in her tiny Earthside apartment, a place that once felt safe, now cold and heavy with silence. The memory of the dragon would not leave her mind. She replayed the scene again and again, the faint glow of its scales, the fire in its eyes, the strange quiet in its breathing. She tried to sleep, but her heart pounded faster each time her eyes closed. It was late at night when she heard it, a sound outside her window, low at first like metal scraping stone, then heavier like wings dragging through air. She froze, listening, breath caught in her throat again, the noise this time sharper, closer. She forced herself to the window, her hands shaking, and when she pulled the curtain aside she felt her world tilt. Standing in the pale glow of the streetlight was the creature, the same dragon she had saved. Its body no longer weak, no longer broken, it stood tall, its metallic scales shimmering like liquid silver, its eyes glowing brighter than stars. Emma staggered back, whispering, "No, this cannot be real." But the dragon lifted its head, and the air around her vibrated. A voice formed, not with words through ears, but with thought inside her skull, gentle yet vast, "You saved me, human, and I will not forget." She pressed her hands to her temples, falling to her knees. The voice filled her mind like thunder and whisper together. She tried to speak, her lips barely moving. "Why are you here?" The answer came swift and heavy, "Because what you did has changed everything, Emma. I am no beast, I am heir to a throne far beyond this world, and you have altered the fate of 2 galaxies." The dragon lowered its massive head close to the window, its eyes burning with something ancient. "You chose mercy when others chose fear. You chose compassion when others chose obedience. That choice has marked you. Now humanity must face what is coming." Emma shook her head, heart racing. "I do not understand what is coming." The dragon's breath fogged the glass, cold and electric. "You will soon, you will see the sky break and the stars move and the world tremble. They will come for me, and they will come for you, because you touched the future with kindness." Emma stumbled back, whispering, "No, no, no, this is a dream." The dragon's gaze did not falter. "Tomorrow the skies will open, Emma Carter, and you must be ready. The voice faded, leaving only silence, the street below empty, the shadow gone. She pressed her forehead to the cold glass, tears stinging her eyes. She wanted to believe she was losing her mind, but deep down her bones ached with truth. The creature was real, the warning was real. She lay in her bed trembling, waiting for sleep that would not come. As the hours dragged, the first light of dawn crept across the horizon, and Emma felt it before she saw it, a hum in the air, a vibration beneath the floor, a sense of pressure pressing from the sky. She ran to the window, and gasped. The clouds above Earth split apart, as if torn by invisible hands. Shafts of light brighter than any sun poured through, and from beyond came shapes vast and endless. Alien ships descending in silence like shadows of mountains. The city below screamed, sirens wailed, people flooded the streets pointing to the heavens. Emma's heart stopped, the dragon's words echoing in her mind. The skies will open, she knew. Then she had been marked, she knew. Then they had come. The sky was alive with terror as the ships descended, their vast metallic bodies blotting out the sun. Entire neighborhoods drowned in shadow. Emma pressed her hands against the window, unable to breathe. Her neighbors screamed in the hallways below, car alarms shrieked, dogs barked. And still the ships kept coming, silent, cold, immense. They did not fire, they did not signal, they simply hung above the earth like titans from another age. Emma whispered to herself, "They are searching." She felt it in her chest, a pull like gravity, her heart pounding in rhythm with a humming that filled the air. Then a streak of light cut across the horizon, one ship lowering more than the rest. Its surface glowed with symbols, twisting and alive like fire. Emma stumbled back, clutching her chest, a voice not hers whispering inside her mind, "They are looking for you." Her knees buckled, she wanted to hide, she wanted to vanish, but deep down she knew the dragon had spoken the truth. This was no random invasion, this was no blind attack, they were here for her. A knock rattled her door hard and fast. She froze again, the knock grew louder, the frame shaking. Emma forced herself to the door, but when she opened it she found not soldiers, not agents, not police, but the dragon standing in the narrow hallway, its body folded small enough to fit, yet still vast, its eyes glowing fiercely. "You must come now," it thundered in her mind. "They are here, and they are not patient." Emma's voice cracked. "I cannot, I am just a nurse, I am nobody." The dragon lowered its head to her, I level its scales, humming with energy. "You are not nobody, you are the one who chose to save me when all others turned away, and for that you are now bound to the fate of humanity." She trembled as the building shook around them, screams outside, louder, ships rumbling closer. The dragon's voice sharpened, "They will not wait, they will take you one way or another." Emma felt her legs moving before her mind agreed. She followed the creature down the stairwell, doors blown open by force, the sky outside burning with light, the city swallowed in chaos, people running everywhere. But the moment she stepped out, the crowd parted, not from fear of her but from the blinding beam that fell from the largest ship above, a column of white fire piercing the ground around her, sealing her in light. The dragon roared, its wings snapping wide, and Emma was lifted from the earth, pulled upward into the column. As the world below blurred, screams fading, the last thing she saw was the terrified faces of humanity staring skyward. As she disappeared into the ship, when her vision cleared, she stood on a platform of shining black metal, the air thick with power. Figures in armor lined the edges, tall and alien, their faces hidden, their eyes glowing, a council waiting. And in the center, a throne of light, empty until another presence entered, massive, regal, and unmistakable. The dragon she had saved, now standing taller, crowned with flame, its voice rolling across the chamber, "This is the human she saved me, and because of her choice the fate of Earth must now be decided." Emma's body trembled as every alien eye turned upon her. She realized with brutal clarity the world was not under invasion, it was on trial. Emma's breath came shallow as she stood at the center of the alien chamber, the walls alive with pulsing veins of light that shifted like living stars. The air was heavy, each sound amplified, every gaze crushing her spirit. Rows upon rows of alien figures stared down at her, their forms towering, their armor glistening, strange symbols glowing across their bodies. They whispered in tongues older than human history, their voices weaving into a sound like thunder. The dragon she had saved, now no longer wounded, no longer weak, stood before them, its form magnificent, scales burning like silver fire, wings stretching into the shadows above, and a crown of light blazing upon its brow. Emma realized what the others had feared. This was no ordinary creature, this was royalty. The dragon's voice filled the chamber, and her mind at once. "She saved me when you demanded I be abandoned. She chose compassion over fear, and because of that choice, I now declare this species worthy to be tested." Emma flinched at the word tested, her voice breaking as she tried to speak. Tested? How the chamber erupted in sound. The aliens muttered, their armor clashing, their lights sparking, until one stepped forward, taller than the rest, its face hidden behind a mask carved from obsidian, its voice deep and cold. "Humanity has been marked by this act. Your kind is violent, greedy, reckless, yet you are capable of mercy. Because of this nurse we will judge if your world is worthy to stand among the stars." Emma shook her head, her voice Trembling, I am not a leader, I am not anyone important, I am just a nurse. The masked figure lowered its head, but in that quiet tone that filled her with ice. Not anymore, you are now the measure of your people. Emma's chest tightened, her mind spinning. She wanted to protest, she wanted to scream, but the dragon's eyes met hers, calm, steady, unyielding. You must not fear, they will test you, they will test your world, but you are not alone, I will guide you. Emma's hands shook as she whispered, why me, why not someone stronger, someone wiser? The dragon's gaze did not break, because only those who choose kindness when no one is watching are worthy of carrying the weight of worlds. Suddenly, the chamber shook, a violent tremor, the walls groaning with energy. The masked alien lifted its arms, and the entire hall fell silent. The trial begins now, it declared across the galaxy. Every ship turned its gaze upon Earth, weapons dormant yet ready, and across the world humans looked to the skies, their fates hanging on a single nurse who had saved a dying dragon. Emma's heart thundered. She realized she was not only standing before a council, she was standing on the edge of judgment, where one word, one choice could decide whether humanity survived or burned. The chamber darkened until the stars themselves seemed to burn through the walls above. Emma felt small, her body trembling, her breath caught in her chest. The silence was unbearable until the masked figure raised one arm and a vision filled the air, a projection. Vast and luminous swirling shapes of galaxies and lines of war traced across them. Battles fought, millions dead, worlds burned. Humanity's small blue planet flickered at the edge of the map, a fragile spark in a storm of fire. The alien voice rang deep. Humanity has already drawn attention. You consume your own world with greed. You build weapons before wisdom. You seek power before peace. Emma tried to speak, but her voice cracked. I am not my whole world. I cannot answer for all of us. The council's voices clashed like thunder until the dragon's roar cut through them. Her dragon, the one she had saved, its voice filled the hall. No, she cannot answer for all of them, but she can answer for herself, and her answer will show what her people may become. Emma's hands shook, her heart pounding. She could feel the weight of Earth pressing against her shoulders. The masked figure moved closer, towering above her, its eyes burning through the mask. A choice waits before you, human. Betray your kind and live, or defend your kind and face their destruction. Emma staggered back, the words a knife to her soul. Betray them and live, what kind of life would that be? But defend them, and if she failed, billions might die. She whispered, broken and soft, why me? I never wanted this, I only wanted to help. One life. The dragon's eyes gleamed fierce and bright. One life is enough to change the fate of stars. Emma's throat tightened. She thought of her patients on Helios, the ones who had smiled, the ones who had cried, the ones who had whispered thank you with their final breaths. She thought of Earth, her family, her world flawed and fragile, yet still filled with children, laughter, oceans, sunrises, things worth saving. She raised her head, though her voice still shook. I will not betray humanity. If we fall, we fall because we are trying to be better. The chamber erupted, the council's voices rising, the vision above shifting from fire to light, and then to shadow. Emma felt her knees weaken. The masked alien leaned closer, its whisper, a blade against her mind. Then you will prove it, human. And if you fail, Earth will not burn alone, your galaxy will fall with it. Emma gasped, horror freezing her blood. She realized now the trial was not only for Earth, it was for all who lived within reach, and if she faltered, the darkness waiting in the stars would consume everything. Emma stood frozen, her pulse racing as the words echoed inside her head. If she failed, not just Earth but entire galaxies would burn. The chamber seemed to tilt around her, the lights bending, the voices of the council rising like a storm. She wanted to collapse, she wanted to scream, but then the dragon's deep, steady voice pressed through the chaos. She is human, she is untrained, yet her compassion is her strength. If she must face the test, then let it be before us all. The masked figure raised one arm, and silence returned. The chamber floor shifted and dissolved into light. Emma gasped as the ground beneath her feet melted away, and suddenly she was standing in a vast illusion, a battlefield stretching endless around her, the sky black, the ground broken, fires burning in the distance. Alien soldiers stood before her, weapons in hand, their armor alive with power, their voices a chorus of anger. They shouted, humanity is weak, humanity is violent, humanity destroys. The sound was so loud she covered her ears, but their words pierced straight into her chest. She felt herself shrink, but the dragon's voice thundered through the storm, speak, Emma, speak, not with fear, but with truth. Her lips trembled, she forced her words out, I am human, and yes, we are flawed, we make mistakes, we hurt each other, but we also heal, we love, we forgive, we hope, we try again, and again, no matter how many times we fall. The illusion rippled, the fire flickered, the soldiers froze their weapons shaking. Emma's heart pounded, she felt strength rising from somewhere deeper than fear. I am not powerful, I am not chosen, I am not a leader, but I am proof that even the smallest act of kindness can matter. You see me as weak, but weakness is not the same as cruelty. Weakness can still choose mercy. The ground split, a quake shattering through the battlefield. The vision flickered, then shifted, new images rising into the sky, scenes of Earth, children laughing in sunlit parks, families embracing after war, strangers helping strangers during Disasters. The council watched in silence, their burning eyes fixed on her. The masked alien tilted its head, as if uncertain for the first time, but then shadows crept across the vision, and the battlefield darkened again. A new figure appeared, towering black and immense, its form twisted, its eyes burning red. The air turned heavy and poisonous. Emma staggered back, feeling her strength drain as the figure spoke in a voice that cracked the stars. Humanity will never rise, they will never change, they will fall, and I will be there to claim them. Emma knew this was the true enemy, the one hiding behind the trial, waiting for humanity to fail. She wanted to run, but the dragon's roar split the darkness. Fight not with weapons, Emma, with your heart, with your will. The figure advanced closer, massive, looming, unstoppable. She clenched her fists, her body shaking, and forced herself to whisper, "No, you are wrong. Humanity is not perfect, but we are not yours to claim. We will choose our own path." The darkness trembled. As if struck, the shadow figure roared in fury, but the vision shattered into light, and silence returned. Emma fell to her knees, gasping, sweat cold on her skin. As the chamber reformed around her, the council stared unmoving, and for the first time she saw doubt in their glowing eyes. Emma's body trembled as she pushed herself from the floor, her breath ragged, her heart still echoing the roar of the shadow that had nearly swallowed her. She looked up at the council, their faces hard, unreadable, their silence heavier than any scream. Then the masked figure stepped forward, its towering frame bending low, its voice carrying through the chamber like cold steel. "You claim your kind deserves to walk among the stars, yet your kind has spilled oceans of blood. Why should we believe your words are anything but lies?" Emma's voice cracked, but she did not look away, because lies cannot build hope, lies cannot heal wounds, lies cannot make me stand here now when every part of me wants to run. The chamber stirred, murmurs rolling like thunder, but the dragon's voice rose steady, fierce, strong. "She speaks with no weapon, no power, no crown, and yet she shakes you all, because truth does not need to be shouted to be heard." Emma's hands balled into fists, her fear still there, but something stronger burning beneath it. She remembered the dragon's words, "One life can change the fate of stars." She thought of the patience she had held as they slipped away, the ones who had smiled, the ones who had begged her not to leave them alone. She thought of the creature on the table, its glowing eyes fading until she had refused to let them close. She felt heat rise in her chest. "I am not here because I am perfect, I am here because I chose to care when it cost me everything, and if humanity is guilty of mistakes, then let us be judged for how we rise from them, not how we fall." The chamber shook, the stars in the ceiling pulsing brighter, the council's voices rising, one clashing with another, until the masked alien struck its staff against the floor. Silence crashing down again. "It does not matter what you say, human," it growled. "The enemy has already marked your world. The shadow you saw is real. It waits, it feeds, it will come whether we spare you or not." Emma froze, her chest tightening. That voice, the shadow, its power. She whispered, "Then why test us, why judge us, if the enemy will destroy us anyway?" The masked figure's gaze burned. "Because your choice decides whether you face it alone or with us." Emma's breath hitched, the weight of the moment sinking into her bones, her voice soft but certain. "Then I choose humanity, not because we are strong, but because we are worth standing beside." The council roared, their voices splitting the air. The dragon stepped forward, wings unfurling, light blazing across its scales, its roar shaking the chamber. "She has chosen, and so have I will stand with Earth." Silence fell for one endless moment before the masked alien lowered its head slowly. Then the voice came, deep and final, "The test is not finished, human, but your answer has opened the path. The stars themselves now turn toward your world." Emma felt her knees weaken, but she stood tall even as fear gnawed at her, because she understood what the dragon had meant. She had touched something vast, bigger than her, bigger than Earth, and the trial was far from over. Emma's pulse thundered in her ears as the chamber fell silent, the council's eyes glowing like stars fixed on her, the weight of their judgment pressing so heavy she thought her bones might break. The dragon stood at her side, its massive wings folded, its scales burning like molten silver, its presence the only shield between her and the countless powers ready to decide her world's fate. Then the masked figure lifted its staff, and the floor beneath them shifted again, this time not into illusion but into a great window of living light. Through it, Emma saw Earth suspended in the blackness, small, fragile, blue, every ocean, every forest, every city glowing like veins of fire. She felt tears sting her eyes, the beauty of it, and the terror of how close it stood to destruction. The alien voice cut through her, "Ah, humanity has been spared for now, but know this, the shadow waits beyond your sky. It feeds on division, it hunts compassion, it will come." Emma whispered, shaking, "What do you mean, it will come?" The masked figure's voice deepened, "It has already begun. Its reach is inside your world, already, your hospitals, your leaders, your homes." Emma's blood turned cold, the memory of Helios flooding her mind, her own supervisors, their strange fear, their harsh warnings. They knew they were already touched by the shadow. Her lips parted, a whisper, "Escaping the infiltration has already started." The dragon lowered its head beside her, voice fierce but quiet, "The enemy moves in silence, consuming until nothing remains. And yet your act of mercy has ignited something it cannot touch, the choice to save rather than abandon." Emma stared again at Earth, her throat tight, her mind burning with fear, And wonder you mean me my choice. The dragon's gaze locked on her steady as stone. Not just yours, but what it awakens in others. A spark becomes fire, a fire becomes light, and light drives back the dark. The chamber began to fade, the council dissolving into shadows until only the masked figure remained, its final words echoing like thunder across the void. Then prepare, human, for you saved one life, and now you must save many. The stars will watch, and so will we. The chamber shattered into blinding light. Emma gasped and stumbled forward, and when the glow cleared she was standing once more on Earth in the middle of a silent city, the alien ships above vanishing into the clouds like ghosts, the streets around her empty, the world holding its breath. Her heart hammered, her hands trembling. She whispered into the quiet, "I am just a nurse, how can I save the galaxy?" And then a voice filled her mind, the dragon's voice, warm and unshakable. "You saved me once, Emma Carter, now you must save them all." She lifted her eyes to the endless sky, feeling both terror and resolve, because she knew the shadow was coming, and she knew humanity would not face it alone.